Chosen one. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you. The noise of this world has been silenced so that this moment could reach you without interference. The scrolling stops here, because what unfolds on Monday is not just another date. It is the beginning of your divine unveiling. You have been marked by heaven for something that cannot be delayed any longer. You feel it, don't you? That weight in your chest, that stirring that refuses to let you rest. This is not anxiety. It is divine anticipation. You were never random. You were never overlooked. You were never forgotten. Every detour, every delay, every closed door has been a setup for what is about to open. Listen carefully, for this is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. Heaven has been aligning everything in secret timelines. Encounters, even the moments you thought were wasted. Monday is not coming to crush you. Monday is coming to crown you. There are seasons when heaven hides its hand until the final hour. You, chosen one, are standing in that hour now. Every tear you cried in silence was counted. Every time you said, "Lord, I don't understand, but I still trust you." Heaven wrote it down. Nothing you endured was in vain. The heavens are about to reveal why you had to carry so much before you saw anything shift. This isn't punishment. It's preparation. Do you realize how powerful it is that you're reading this right now? The algorithm didn't send you here. God did. Because there are moments when time folds in on itself and eternity interrupts your scrolling. This is one of them. Monday is not just another sunrise. It is an appointment written in the scrolls of heaven. You have survived the prelude. Now comes the revelation. Heaven is speaking, and it's saying, "Get ready." The storm didn't destroy you because it wasn't meant to. It was meant to strip you of what couldn't go where you're headed. Every disappointment purified your vision. Every rejection redirected your path. And now, as the world prepares for another ordinary day, heaven is preparing to unveil the extraordinary through you. The Spirit whispers, "Stop doubting. You are not too late. You are right on time." The divine pause before Monday is sacred. It's where you release fear, where you breathe again, where your faith begins to rise. You've been through battles that should have broken you, but instead, they built something eternal within you. The crown you thought you lost is being restored even now. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits, an appointed time. It speaks of the end, and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will not delay." This is your moment to lift your head again. You have been grounded for a purpose, but now your wings are being renewed. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead is about to lift you above what has tried to bury you. Monday carries a shift that will confirm everything God whispered when you were at your lowest. You will see it. You will know it. And you will say, "Only God could have done this." Now, chosen one, hear me clearly. Heaven is setting a divine reminder in your spirit right now. You can't go back to old cycles. You can't keep entertaining distractions that steal your focus. You can't hide the light that was meant to guide others through their midnight. You are being summoned to step into your destiny. Don't look for validation from those who rejected you. They weren't meant to recognize your crown. God did not choose a committee. He chose you. So, before Monday comes, take this as your divine instruction. Prepare your heart, your mind, and your spirit. Forgive where it hurts. Release what's been draining you. and declare over yourself, I am ready, because when the clock turns and the sun rises, something heaven ordained will meet you on the other side of obedience. Now, if this word has touched your spirit, pause, breathe, and act in faith. Like this message, to anchor it in your timeline. Share it so another weary soul can find their reminder. Comment below and type 777 as a prophetic sign that you are aligned with heaven's timing and ready for what unfolds on Monday. And if you haven't already, subscribe to stay connected to every message heaven is releasing through this channel. You are not here by mistake. You are here by divine design. Monday is not the end, it's the beginning. Heaven has already started writing the next chapter of your story. And the first line reads, the chosen one finally took their rightful place. Night settles like a velvet seal, and you finally hear what daylight drowns out. In the small hours, your heart beats slower, your breath evens, and the walls between realms thin. The room does not change, yet everything changes because you listen. You are not running anymore, you are receiving. This is where heaven prefers to meet you, not in the frenzy, but in the hush that follows surrender. You tune your senses to the frequency of mercy, a drip in the hallway, a car far away, the soft shiver of your curtain. Each small sound becomes a metronome, guiding you toward the voice within the voice. You do not chase it, you allow it to arrive. The ache you carried into this night loosens its grip, and the question you have been afraid to ask rises like mist. What if the answer has been whispering the entire time? You notice how your thoughts stop sprinting and start kneeling. Memories approach, not as prosecutors but as witnesses. The hard moments do not disappear, they bow. You are held from within by a presence that speaks more with weight than with syllables. You grasp that guidance is not always a lightning bolt. Sometimes it is a lantern close, warm, steady, leading you one faithful step into the next. Listen closer. The whisper does not flatter your ego or rehearse your fears. It separates truth from noise with a surgeon's calm. It says, forgive now, release that name, return that message unopened. Sleep, for I am awake. Stand, for I am with you. Cry if you must, but do not quit. You feel authority rise in you, like dawn over water, gentle, inevitable, bright. The night becomes your classroom, and you realize how trained you have been to outrun stillness. You recall rooms full of people, and yet a loneliness thick as fog. You recall compliments that could not reach you, and criticisms that always could. In this hour, the Lord untangles the knots behind your reactions. He shows you where a vow of self-protection kept you from receiving love, where a memory became a muzzle. He loosens the muzzle. You ask for confirmation, and the room answers with peace. Not a parade, not a spectacle, peace. It wraps you without demanding your performance. It does not argue with your doubt. It outlasts it. You breathe deeper. Images from the day replay, but their edges dull. What used to trigger now teaches. What used to accuse now releases. In the whisper, you become fluent in freedom's grammar, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. Visit Kings, chapter 19, verse 12. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. The lesson is plain. God does not shout to compete with your storms. He waits for the storm to exhaust itself. And then he speaks in a way only lovers hear. You do not need louder. You need lower, lower to the ground. Lower in pride. Lower in hurry, so your spirit can rise. You test the whisper. You hold it up to what you know of Christ, his character, his cross, his compassion. It does not manipulate, it liberates. It does not inflate you, it aligns you. It moves you to reconcile, to repent, to repair. It asks for obedience before understanding, not as a trap, but as a doorway. You realize faith is hearing in seed form what will shout in harvest. Tonight, you trade the clamor of outcomes for the companionship of presence. You let tomorrow's Monday rest in the hands that hold galaxies, and you stay with the one who holds you. You notice how fear loses vocabulary when love enters the room. You notice how your spine straightens without effort. You are not performing, you are belonging, and belonging. You become bold. Before sleep finally gathers you, you answer the whisper with a simple yes. Not a bargain, not a speech, just yes. You place your name on the line heaven already signed. You forgive who you were this morning. You bless who you will be on Monday. You give God your fragments and receive his future. The house does not cheer. The city does not notice. But eternity records. The chosen one heard and obeyed in the midnight hours. And when dawn edges your window with silver, you rise, carrying a peace that does not advertise itself, a courage that does not clench its fists, and a map written in whispers only your spirit can read. You wake with a quiet certainty humming beneath your ribs, a recognition that does not ask permission to exist. You sense it before words assemble. You are marked. Not by applause, not by scars alone, but by a seal that the world cannot counterfeit. The world brands to own, heaven marks to send. You feel the difference now. The old ache of trying to fit in loosens. The urge to perform for rooms that never understood you fades like fog under a rising sun. You stand, not taller in body, but truer in spirit. This awakening does not roar, it resonates. It hums through memories and reinterprets them in light. That rejection, a doorway away from dilution. That detour, an unrepeatable classroom where your discernment was forged. You see it now, how some rooms drained you because your oil was never meant for their lamps. You were carrying assignments they could not name, so they mislabeled you. Heaven is correcting the label. The new name doesn't inflate your ego, it restores your function. You begin to notice markers small, holy signals that keep showing up, conversations that circle the same themes you've been praying about, scriptures that meet you from different corners, an unusual boldness with strangers who suddenly feel like kin. Even your resistance to old temptations feels different. It isn't willpower alone. It's identity. You do not argue with that which you have outgrown. The cocoon does not debate when it is time to split. It splits, and wings remember what the worm could never imagine. You realize the mark is not a trophy, it is an assignment. Marked ones move differently. You stop broadcasting hunger to the wrong kitchens. You stop auditioning for tables that cannot seat your calling. You find yourself drawn toward prayer without fuss, to scripture without guilt, to silence without fear. Heaven is not trying to make you exotic. Heaven is making you effective. There are people on the other side of your obedience who cannot breathe yet. Your yes becomes their oxygen. As the apostle reminds us in his letter to the 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, "But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Read that again. Chosen, royal, holy, his own. This is not a slogan. It is your spiritual genealogy. You are not hustling for acceptance. You are stewarding a lineage. Royalty is not arrogance. It is accountability to the King's heart, the King's justice, the King's mercy. Marked ones attract warfare, yes, but also angelic assistance. You are not sent unescorted. Where confusion once tangled you, clarity now cuts a path. Where shame used to silence you, testimony now speaks. You are not naive about darkness. You are simply no longer intimidated by it. Light does not argue with shadow. It appears, and shadow relocates. The awareness of being sealed does not make you reckless with sin. It makes you restless for righteousness. You feel the inner nudge to clean your speech, your habits, your hidden motives, not to earn love, but because you already carry it. There will be moments today when old scripts try to reassert themselves. The urge to explain yourself to those determined not to understand. The reflex to shrink when your discernment is mocked. The temptation to numb with shallow comforts. Hear me, you are not negotiating with Egypt anymore. Your passport has changed kingdoms. You do not need to be abrasive. You only need to be anchored. Anchored hearts walk softly and still leave holy footprints. And now, one simple act to seal this recognition in your daily life type. Mark me now. This is more than a comment. It is a prophetic agreement. When you write it, you are choosing the seal over the stigma, assignment over attention, presence over performance. You are saying to heaven and to your own soul, I align with the identity you authored, not the one pain proposed. Let these 3 words be your morning key, your pre-meeting breath, your before-bed prayer. They will remind you that crowns sit best on surrendered brows. From this hour, speak to your day like one who carries authority. Bless your steps before they take them. Bless your voice before it sounds. Bless your eyes to notice the weary and your hands to help without fanfare. The mark does not make you untouchable. It makes you available, consecrated for usefulness. You will find that rooms change temperature when you enter, not because you demand it, but because you carry a thermostat called peace. You will watch counterfeit opportunities fade before you even answer, and real doors open without you pounding. Your name will be mentioned where your feet have not yet walked, because heaven is networking your obedience ahead of you. Walk forward. Then, not as one desperate to be discovered, but as one already known in the courts of heaven. You are the message God is sending to Monday. And Monday, waiting like a field at dawn, is ready to receive the footprints of the marked. The recognition settles, and with it comes a surprising gravity, the weight of waiting. It is not the heaviness of despair, it is the density of meaning. You sense that heaven is not late, heaven is precise. The delays that once mocked your hope now feel like scaffolding around an unseen cathedral. You begin to reinterpret your pauses, not as punishments, but as protections. The unanswered message saved you from a lesser bond. The postponed opportunities spared you from misalignment. The roadblocks trained your reflexes to obey instead of perform. Waiting teaches you to measure time by obedience, not by outcome. You start to see the difference between hurry and momentum. Hurry is noisy and brittle. Momentum is quiet and inevitable. You are learning the slow courage of roots. You are learning that a seed does not accuse the soil for darkness. It trusts the dark to do holy work. The soil is not silence, it is sanctuary. In this sanctuary, you discover patience as power, not passivity, not resignation power. Patience refuses to be herded by panic. It selects the voice of the shepherd over the chorus of clocks. There is a Monday coming, but you refuse to bargain with fear, to reach it. You walk toward it with the stride of one escorted. What once felt like restraint now feels like calibration. You are not being held back, you are being lined up. You think of heroes who carried the same weight. Joseph learned the language of palaces in a prison. David learned the cadence of kingship among sheep. Anna saw redemption because she refused to leave the temple of waiting. They were not idle, they were enrolled. So are you. Every day you show up in faith becomes a lesson heaven can build on. The classroom looks ordinary, but the curriculum is royal. You notice how waiting purifies desire. The plans that looked glittering but hollow begin to fade from your appetite. The need to prove something to the ones who doubted you evaporates like dew. A quieter longing takes the throne, to be faithful, to be accurate, to be kind. You ask not, how fast, but how true. You realize that speed cannot compensate for misdirection. Accuracy will outlast urgency. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Psalms. Chapter 27, verse 14. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. This is not a suggestion to idle, it is a summons to courage. Strength is required to wait without spiraling, to hold course when alternatives flash their cheap promises. Heart is required to keep tenderness alive while time stretches. The command to wait is an anointing to endure without calcifying. In the waiting, God revises the internal maps that used to send you into detours. He separates impulse from instruction. He shows you where a hidden fear dressed itself as ambition, where anxiety masqueraded as discernment. He untangles the knots one by one, not to expose you to shame, but to free your hands for the work ahead. You consent to this gentle untying. You tell the truth in prayer. You admit your deadlines and place them down. You choose the altar over the algorithm. You also begin to practice small obediences that match the future you are entering. You organize a corner of your life that chaos once ruled. You answer an old offense with a new blessing. You study for a door that has not yet appeared, not to manipulate fate, but to honor calling. Preparation is worship. Excellence is gratitude. Your future will not be surprised by your readiness. It will be magnetized by it. There are moments when the ache flares the hour when others seem to sprint past. The day when silence stretches too long. In those moments, you lean into the covenant instead of the comparison. You remember that manna spoiled when hoarded and that oil multiplied when poured. You pour what you have: prayer, attention, craftsmanship, kindness. Heaven does not miss a drop. The ledger of the faithful is kept by nail-scarred hands. As Monday approaches, the weight shifts from your shoulders to your stride. You feel the ground meeting you differently, less like resistance, more like partnership. The path that once hid itself begins to gleam at your feet, one square at a time. This is how promises keep time. They appear as you move, and they mature as you obey. You are not behind. You are being held for the hour when your yes does the most good. The delay was never denial, it was design, and design, finally revealed, feels like destiny wearing your name. The air tightens before dawn. Even birds delay their first notes. That is how it feels in your spirit. Now, the test before the unveiling. Pressure does not mean absence, it means imminence. A clay jar knows the potter's hands most when the fingers press deepest. You are in that holy pressure, not to break you, but to finish the shape you will carry into Monday. Tests arrive like weather. Some creep in as slow fog, subtle doubts that make familiar paths look foreign. Others strike like summer storms, sudden, loud, soaking plans you thought were waterproof. You are learning to read the sky. You are learning that not every dark cloud is judgment. Some are incubation. Seeds do not argue with rain. They open. This week, the shadows try new costumes. A small misunderstanding balloons into a theater of accusations. An old temptation knocks as if it has a lease. A delay you had made peace with suddenly feels personal. Notice the pattern right before unveiling. Counterfight. Scripts demand your stage, but you do not audition. You hold the script written by the one who called you. You have lines to deliver that do not include panic. Picture a ship approaching harbor at night. The current pulls hardest near the rocks. The wind argues with the mast. And yet the captain's eyes are trained on the range, lights two small beams that, when aligned, guide safely in. Your range lights are promise and character. When what you feel and what you see clash like waves, you steer by what he said and who he is. The test is not to prove God, it is to anchor you. Some tests are mirror tests, not dramatic, just daily. Can you show kindness to the one who rushes past your need? Can you speak truth without poison in your tone? Can you show up to practice when applause is withheld? These are not minor drills. They are the quiet rehearsals that make the big stage safe for you and safe for those you will serve. Influence without integrity is a lantern with no oil bright for a breath. Then, dark. You will not be that lantern. Other tests are wilderness tests. You look around and nothing matches the map you were handed. You cannot coast on yesterday's manna or yesterday's mood. You must pray with a throat full of dust and worship while the horizon refuses to change color. It is here that roots plunge deeper, searching for unseen water. It is here that the well within you surprises you because it is fed from a river that never dries. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the James, chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. Hear it in your bones. There is a crown on the other side of the pressure, not a plastic tiara for photos, but authority forged in obedience, the kind that steadies rooms and heals atmospheres. So, how do you walk today? Like a violinist tuning in a noisy backstage. You turn your ear to the true note and twist the peg until the string agrees. Your choices are pegs, silence when slander invites you to duet, generosity when scarcity sings its solo, prayer when your flesh wants performance. Each turn brings you into harmony with the king's pitch. By the time the curtain lifts, you will not be scrambling, you will be ready. If this message has met you at just the right crossroads, treat it like a lantern you'll need again. Save it where your future self can find it. Share it like bread for another traveler who might be wandering the same dark hallway. And if you want to walk with this voice through the chapters ahead, subscribe quietly. intentionally. So we can keep tuning together. No noisy, no hype, just steady alignment for souls called to carry light. You are not failing because you feel the wind. Sailors are made by wind. You are not disqualified because your knees shook. Heroes kneel before they stand. The test before the unveiling is not an exam you pass with perfect answers. It is a fire you pass through with a guarded flame. Keep it. Cup it with both hands. Whisper to it with scripture and breath. The curtain is moving. Monday stands just beyond the fabric. When it parts, you will not be the one surprised. You will be the one prepared. You feel it ticking, not the clock on the wall, but the one in your spirit. Seconds that do not make sound. Minutes that do not ask permission. The sense of alignment deepens like stars sliding into a constellation. Pieces you thought were random begin to point in one direction, as if heaven is drawing an arrow out of scattered dots. This is the prophetic countdown, not panic, not hype, but the quiet certainty that timing is no longer general, it is precise. You notice it in small alignments. The meeting that suddenly moved to Monday, the message you almost missed that echoed a prayer from last night, the unexpected rest that found you after weeks of strain. Heaven choreographs with both storms and stillness. And you, chosen one, are learning the steps. You do not rush the song, you meet the beat. Countdown is not about hurrying, it is about agreeing. Think of a launch pad at night. The crew moves with measured pace. No one sprints, everyone knows their station. The pilot is strapped in. The hum of purpose fills the cabin, and each light turns from red to green in perfect order. That is what is happening in your life. Systems check on faith, on friendships, on focus. False weights fall away. Necessary supports reveal themselves. You are not being complicated. You are being calibrated. There is a difference. Let this be your inner bell at dusk and dawn. Pause. Place your hand over your heart and say, I agree with your timing. Feel the pulse answering back. That rhythm is covenant, not chance. Walk it. Breathe it. Keep it until Monday opens like a gate of living light today, according to what is revealed in the Romans, chapter 13, verse 11, and do this. Understanding the present time, the hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. Let it settle in you. Wakefulness is worship. To be alert is to be aligned. Countdown is heaven's way of saying, open your eyes, the gate is boarding. Aloft, you once begged for big signs, now you recognize holy subtleties. The delayed impulse to respond in anger, the nudge to leave 5 minutes earlier and meet the person you were meant to help. The urge to study what you used to avoid. These are green lights on your console. Each yes clicks another switch into place. The question is no longer, will I be chosen? The question is, will I be ready when chosen? Readiness is reverence in motion. The enemy wants to contaminate countdown with anxiety, turning sacred timing into a sprint. You cannot win. Refuse the counterfeit. The king is not behind you with a whip. He walks beside you with a map. He points out the landmarks you missed while rushing. There, he says, is the well I kept for you, and there is the door that will not open until you stop banging and start breathing. Breath carries you across thresholds better than bruised knuckles. You also feel the holy pressure to simplify. When time compresses, clutter becomes heavy. You set down what does not belong. resentments that stole your speed, distractions that dressed as duties, opportunities that were more about image than impact. You clear the runway. You make room for Monday to land. It is not asceticism, it is accuracy. Your clarity is making space for God's acceleration. Picture a metronome on a grand piano. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The rhythm seems plain until a pianist sits and turns the steady beat into symphony. Your days are the ticks. God's presence turns them into music. Do not despise the steady ones. They are training your soul to keep time when the melody swells. Destiny is less like a lottery and more like a melody. You step into it by staying on beat. Now, seal it with a sign your future self can recognize. In the comments, type 999, not as superstition, but as a prophetic agreement that cycles are closing and completion is crowning your preparation. When you write 999, you are saying, I choose wakefulness over worry, alignment over anxiety, calibration over chaos. Let that number be your quiet bell, a reminder that heaven's timing does not tremble. It triumphs. You are not late. You are not early. You are precisely where obedience places you on the edge of a Monday, written long before you were criticized, long before you were celebrated, long before you knew how to spell the word calling. The countdown is real, and when it reaches 0, you will not explode into fragments. You will lift steady, focused, whole. There is a stillness that is not quiet, a silence filled with motion. You feel it when the room seems ordinary, yet your spirit knows otherwise, like standing on a shore while tides turn under moonlight you cannot see. This is the war in the hidden realm, not spectacle, not fireworks, but a choreography of light and shadow playing just beyond eyesight. You are not paranoid. You are perceptive. The pressure on your mind, the odd heaviness without cause, the sudden flare of old accusations. These are tremors from a battlefield where your name is spoken with both hatred and honor. You have noticed the patterns. On mornings after deep prayer, distraction multiplies like insects to a porch light. After reconciliation, misunderstandings slither in with old vocabulary dressed in new tones. When you decide to step forward, fatigue arrives wearing a reasonable face. Tomorrow is fine. The enemies of your soul do not always shout. They suggest. They do not always push. They pull. They do not always tempt with filth. They bait with almost. But you are learning the difference between noise and strategy. You no longer swing at shadows. You track source. A mood that arrives without reason is not ignored. It is interrogated. A thought that humiliates instead of convicts is not entertained. It is evicted. A door that opens too easily when you are most vulnerable is not celebrated. It is examined. Discernment is not suspicion. It is sight trained by love. There are nights when you dream in symbols stairs that do not end, rooms that keep duplicating, phones that won't connect. You wake not with fear, but with clarity. Something is contesting your ascent. Something is multiplying distractions. Something is scrambling communication. You answer not with panic, but with posture. You sit up, breathe steady, and speak like one who knows whose house this is. Your authority is not volume, it is alignment. Consider the currents beneath an ocean surface. Entire migrations are directed by flows no tourist can see. So it is with intercession. Angels move assignments like ships. pushing against resistance you cannot feel with skin alone. You have comrades you cannot count. You have cover you did not earn. And still, you are recruited to stand. Standing here is not passive. It is the declaration that you will not trade your crown for comfort or your clarity for chaos. As the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." This is your translation key. When hostility rises in a face, you aim above the face. When systems grind your hope, you aim beyond the system. You fight upstream. You resist where the real current runs. You recognize the battlefield in your habits, the morning scroll that dulls your hunger, the casual cynicism that poisons your words, the late-night bargains you make with fatigue. All of these are doors, and doors can be locked. You choose liturgy over loop, a psalm before screens, a breath prayer when criticism stings, a simple blessing spoken over the room before work begins. This is not theatrics. It is warfare conducted with gentleness that terrifies darkness. You also learn to armor others without announcing it. You cover the colleague who confides their fear with a silent prayer as they speak. You bless the street. You walk with a sentence under your breath. You look at the building where you were once belittled and declare it will host healing the next time your feet cross its lobby. You do not need permission to love a place into order. You only need fidelity to the one who loved first. When accusation visits, you answer with testimony. When confusion fogs, you anchor with the last clear order. When isolation prowls, you seek the remnant, those few who do not compete with your light, but add oil to it. You were not forged for lone heroism. Even prophets need arms held up. Even warriors need watching towers. The hidden war will not always feel like clashing swords. Sometimes it will feel like choosing not to answer a message. Sometimes it will feel like a nap taken as obedience. Sometimes it will feel like walking around the block to let anger lose its grip. Heaven is strategic, not theatrical. Victory is often quiet until the fruit shouts. And when the atmosphere finally shifts, when the heaviness lifts like fog before noon, you will know something unseen yielded to something unshakable. You will not receive a medal, but you will carry a peace that functions like one. Rooms will breathe easier when you enter. Plans will find their pace. Monday will not meet a frantic soldier. It will meet a calm general, trained in a war most never see. Fluent in a language most never learn. Steady, because the invisible is more real to you than the visible. There is a tone. Your soul knows better than any melody on earth. It found you before language, before labels, before the world's loud attempts to define you. It is the voice that calls you by name, not the name that was weaponized against you. Not the nickname pain tried to pin on you, but the one heaven wrote before time opened its eyes. You feel it like warmth across frost, like sunrise on a locked room. Doors inside you begin to unlatch without noise. This is not persuasion. This is recognition. You have been called many things, some flattering, some wounding, some sticky like burrs clinging to a traveler's cloak. Misnaming is a strategy. Darkness cannot destroy what God appoints, so it tries to rename it. But today, the renaming ends. The voice does not negotiate with the graffiti scrawled across your memory. It speaks to the original blueprint, the first breath, the secret song within your ribs. It says your name the way the artist says the title of a masterpiece finely restored. You notice what happens to your posture when the voice speaks. The shoulders that have learned to brace begin to lower. The jaw that has kept score begins to release. The eyes that searched rooms for safety find it without moving. The voice is not a crowd and not an echo. It is a person near without invading, strong without scaring, sovereign without shaming. It corrects you without crushing you. It calls you out without casting you off. You discover, again, that conviction is a gift because it assumes your future. You think of all the places where your name felt mishandled, spoken only when something went wrong, avoided when honor was due, used as a leash pulled at will. The voice heals that, too. It says your name with a cadence that repairs your nervous system. You realize much of your striving was an attempt to hear from crowds what only the shepherd could say. You are mine, not rented, not tolerated mine. Possession here is not control, it is covenant. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 3, he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he calls, he also leads. His call contains direction. It does not leave you glowing and confused. It leaves you moving. You step out from pens built by fear and approval, out from routines that kept you safe but small, out from old sentences that ended with doubt. The voice becomes your compass, and obedience becomes your returning path when you wander. Notice how the voice does not compete. It waits until your noise tires itself. It will stand in the corner of your crowded thoughts, not sulking, not scolding, simply steadfast. When you finally turn, no lecture greets you, just recognition. The one who formed your inward parts knows how to speak to them. This is why the same words that scolded you when you said them to yourself heal you when he says them, because his voice carries the atmosphere of his face. And still, the voice will confront. It will call you truth teller, and then remove the places where you habitually soften lies. It will call you servant, and then invite you to wash feet you swore you'd never touch. It will call you free, and then expose every subtle chain you decorated as jewelry. Do not mistake this love for leniency. It is holiness that refuses to leave you where honor cannot follow. You learn to respond quickly, not rushed, but responsive like a musician catching the conductor's cue. A nudge to apologize before pride curdles into poison. A whisper to rest before weariness becomes a worldview. A summons to study before a door opens. So when it does, you recognize its language. Your name becomes a bell. Heaven rings to gather you toward purpose. You begin to love the sound. There will be days when the voice feels far, not because it left, but because other sounds have multiplied. When that happens, simplify, sit, breathe, say the name of Jesus, like a key turned slowly in a lock. The room will not explode into fireworks. It will warm by degrees. Faith pays attention to degrees, and when the warmth reaches your center, you will hear it again, the sound that makes you most yourself. Called, gathered, sent, as the Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah. Chapter 43, verse 1. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Let that sentence become your weather, wrapping you in winter, shading you in summer, steady in every in-between. When Monday arrives, It will not find a stranger to himself. It will find you named, known, led walking out, not into chaos, but into calling. You feel the tremor before the wall actually cracks the pressure, equalizing. The hinges loosening. The hinges of habits creaking under a light they can no longer resist. This is what happens when an old season reaches its expiration date. It doesn't politely excuse itself. It begins to crumble, one assumption at a time. Places you once felt stuck start losing their grip. The language you use to justify smallness sounds foreign in your own mouth. You are not becoming arrogant. You are becoming accurate to who heaven says you are. Old seasons are skilled illusionists. They repeat delays until delay seems like destiny. They rehearse disappointments until you expect them to enter every room. But watch closely. The script is failing. The lines don't land. The cues misfire. You walk into meetings that once reduced you and notice your shoulders do not bow. You pick up tasks that once drained you and sense new oil where old dread used to sit. This isn't adrenaline, it's authority finally coming home. Breaking does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like a phone number you no longer answer, an app you quietly delete, a habit you replace with holy repetition, psalm, breath, blessing, repeat. Sometimes it looks like admitting you were wrong and discovering that repentance is not a courtroom humiliation, but a key to a better door. The old season can only barter with your pride. When you lay that down, the bargaining ends. When light enters an old room, it does not negotiate with dust. It reveals it. That revelation is mercy. You see where fatigue disguised itself as just how I am. You see where a bitterness wore the costume of standards. You see where fear made you strategic instead of surrendered. Do not mourn the exposure. Thank God for it. You cannot carry what you refuse to name, and you cannot lay down what you keep defending. Consider ice at the edge of spring. It seems solid, authoritative, unmoved, until a quiet sequence of warmer days convinces it that its power has always been temporary. That is your old season right now. It may groan, it may crack, it may make a show of holding on, but it is melting. The river underneath has always been stronger than the sheet above. Flow returns where freeze once ruled. The ancient words recorded in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19. Behold, I am doing a new thing. I will make a way in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. Perception is part of participation. You align by noticing. You partner by naming. When you say, new thing, you aren't conjuring, you are agreeing with what already pushes through the soil. Expect turbulence as the season splits, not because you are wrong, but because boundaries move and old agreements protest eviction. A schedule will resist your new order. A craving will try to call itself comfort. A critic will echo yesterday's labels. Breathe, bless, continue. You are not sprinting, you are stepping. One step refuses. The next step releases. The next step receives. The cadence is simple enough to teach your feet. There is a strange courtesy to endings when you honor them. You don't have to torch bridges. You can simply stop crossing them. You don't have to shout your change. You can live it until silence does the announcing. The more you practice this, the more you will sense how endings are also beginnings, wearing different clothes. Monday is not the start of a universe. It is the moment you recognize the one that has been forming around you for some time. And when the temptation comes to stall, to decorate the threshold rather than pass through, remember the arithmetic of heaven. Tears irrigate. Waiting fortifies. Obedience unlocks. Joy arrives not as a party trick but as weather. And you learn to carry it like a climate rather than chase it like a forecast. The sound you'll hear next will be familiar, a door swinging. Not because you pushed harder, but because you finally stood where the hinge was. Now seal the break with a sentence. In the comments, type, "Break the cycle." It's only 3 words, but it is a blade in the spirit. Writing break the cycle is not posturing, it is permission. You are permitting heaven's new thing to define your pace and your patterns. You are revoking the old contract that said, "This is just how it goes for me." You are naming the river under the ice and siding with its flow. When you lay your head down tonight, borrow this picture, a threshold at twilight. Behind you, rooms that smelled like old smoke. Before you, air that tastes like rain. You do not need to slam the door. Just walk. The hinge will swing itself shut. And if echoes chase you, let joy answer them. Joy is the sound of a season breaking clean. Joy is the proof that the future has already begun, speaking your name. The night thins, and you can feel the world inhaling before it speaks light. That is what Monday's dawn will be for you, a breath that gathers what's scattered, a hush that turns into a hymn. You stand at a threshold that does not swing for noise, only for knowing. Doors are honest things. They open to alignment, not theatrics. You have been aligning while others were advertising. Now the horizon starts to lift its eyelids. Think of the sky as a canvas still wet with stars. One by one, they fade, not in defeat, but in deference to a greater brightness. That is how lesser identities step back when your truer name rises. You do not need to shout to be seen. You only need to step where the light expects you. This dawn is not a spotlight. It is a sunrise wide. Patient. Inevitable. You cannot rush it. And you do not need to. You meet it by facing it. You have stood before many doors, some painted beautifully but hinged to basements, others plain as utility closets, yet leading to entire wings you never imagined. Discernment is your doorknob now. You run your hand over the wood and feel the grain of God's timing. If the handle burns with anxiety, you wait. If it carries peace, you turn. Peace is not passive. It is permission. The king's house never requires panic to pass a threshold. Imagine a city still sleeping. Streets washed by the night's quiet work. The baker lights the first oven. The tram hums awake. A single cyclist cuts a line through silver air. Dawn belongs to those preparing while others dream. You are one of them. Your prayers have kneaded dough in the dark. Your obedience has laid tracks. The train will trust. Now the first passengers arrive. Assignments, appointments, alignments, and you will not be late. Because you belong to the hour that built the day. You may not feel grand. Most thresholds do not trumpet when you step. Look for smaller confirmations, a conversation that fits like a well-sewn seam, clarity where fog once camped, the sudden sense that a heavy decision weighs less because it finally sits in the right hand. His doors remember the hands that installed them. This one recognizes you not by resume, but by resemblance to the builder, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, I have set before you an open door. which no one is able to shut. Take the words as architecture, not metaphor only. The door is set, secured by someone who does not fumble keys. Open means resistance will exist, but it will not prevail. No one includes your inner critic, the chorus of doubters, the bureaucracy of delay. They may complain at the frame, they cannot weld it shut. Still, there is a way to walk through. You carry yourself like water poured, not like a battering ram. Water finds shape by honoring its container. So do you by honoring your calling's boundaries. You do not need to explain your obedience to every spectator at the hallway. Nod if you must. Smile if you can. But keep moving. Purpose does not hold press conferences. It holds steady. Let your language turn gentle and exact as day brightens. Bless the room before you enter it, the way a gardener waters soil before planting. Speak peace over the difficult meeting, as if draping a clean cloth over a table that hosted arguments last week. See yourself as a lamp being plugged in, no sparks. Just steady current. When the switch flips, shadow redraws itself into corners it cannot claim anymore. That is what your yes does to atmosphere. If this word resonates, hold it like a warm mug while the sun edges the blinds. Save it where your future self can sip again on a colder morning. Share it with one soul who keeps checking the wrong doors by force. You might hand them a map without needing to say a lot. And if this journey is shaping you faithfully, subscribe, quiet as a nod, to keep walking together when the next corridor arrives. Not for numbers, but for nurture, not for hype, but for holy pacing. The dawn before the door opens is both test and tenderness. You are examined in patience, then embraced in purpose. When the latch clicks, you will not feel fireworks, you will feel fitting. Your feet will land on a floor that seems to have known your weight all along. You will look back, not to doubt, but to recognize the dark was never empty, it was expectancy. And now, with the handle warm in your palm and mercy draping the hallway in gold, you step. Authority does not arrive like a shout, it settles like a mantle. You wake and the air seems unchanged. Yet your posture refuses yesterday's shrink. This is the shift in spiritual authority. You are not limping into Monday as a survivor tallying bruises. You are standing as one entrusted, carrying a command that does not bully but blesses, does not posture but prevails. Authority in the kingdom wears humility like armor and service like a crown. You feel that crown now, not metal and noise, but weight and clarity. There is a difference between energy and authority. Energy burns fast and begs for witnesses. Authority burns steady and builds witnesses. Energy is loud when insecure. Authority is quiet because it knows the source. The power that lifts you now is not borrowed from applause or caffeinated by panic. It flows from having been with him through nights that taught you his cadence and mornings that trained you to walk it. This is why rooms you used to tiptoe through now seem to recognize you. They are not bowing to your personality, they are responding to presence. You test this shift by how you treat small things, the way you answer a difficult message, the patience with which you teach a new hand what you already know, the refusal to exaggerate your story to earn sympathy. Authority makes you exact and kind, not performative. It does not need to win the room, it needs to serve the mission. When you speak, sentences land like seeds instead of slogans. People feel less managed and more mended. You remember the times you swung wildly at shadows. Now you conserve strength. You select battles as a gardener selects where to prune strategic cuts for greater fruit. Silence becomes a tool. Timing becomes a friend. You stop trying to prove purity and instead practice it. The shift is visible in your calendar, your spending, your speech. Even your rest changes shape. It becomes obedience rather than indulgence, recovery rather than escape. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19, "Behold, I give you authority to trample on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you." Receive these words as assignment, not just comfort. Authority given is authority stewarded, aimed at healing, order, and courage. You do not trample people, you trample patterns. You do not crush critics, you crush the lies that keep them captive. You do not flex for the room, you free the room. Notice how this mantle affects geography. Places that once triggered you become altars. Hallways where you whispered apologies to the air become lanes where you bless under your breath. The desk where you doubted your voice becomes a pulpit of craft, emails carefully truthed, plans thoughtfully built, kindness measured and multiplied. You are no longer visiting your life hoping to be hosted. You are hosting your life as a faithful steward of presence. You relearn courage as consistency. The lion in you does not roar to scare. It watches, waits, moves when the Spirit nods. Your boldness is no longer rebellion against rejection. It is reverence to assignment. You do not need to be dramatic with no or apologetic with yes. You place each answer like a stone in a path you are willing to walk tomorrow. Authority loves tomorrow. Impulsiveness only loves the rush of today. The shift also exposes counterfeits, invitations that flatter but do not fit, partnerships that promise reach but would cost resonance, crowds that echo your language but resist your Lord. You bless them and release them. The mantle will not sit right in rooms that trade glory for gossip. You are learning to say, "This is wonderful, but not mine," and mean it without fear of missing out. FOMO decays in the presence of assignment. Finally, authority teaches you to carry weight lightly. You do not deny the cost. You distribute it with wisdom. You build rhythms where grace can keep pace, prayer that is local and daily, friendships that sharpen without branding, work that is honest about limits. You will still feel weather. You will not mistake it for climate. Your climate is set by the one who breathed on your dust and made it dance. When Monday steps forward, it will not find you auditioning. It will find you anointed, not untouchable, but unshakable, not perfect, but prepared. Your hands will do ordinary tasks with consecrated accuracy. Your words will choose life. Your presence will quiet storms you do not even name. And at day's end, you will return the crown to the King's feet. Because that is how authority stays clean, received with awe, used with mercy, laid down with worship. There are days when messages arrive as sentences, and there are days when they arrive as weather. You have stepped into the latter. Confirmation is traveling toward you, not as a memo, but as a pattern, the kind that collects in the corner of your eye and then stands in the doorway, asking if you're paying attention. This is not superstition, this is stewardship of sight. You are learning to read the language of the Lord in the ordinary sky. A small sequence catches you first. The conversation that answers yesterday's prayer using the same unusual phrase, a stranger's kindness echoing a dream you almost dismissed, a door that had rusted shut suddenly swinging as though it had been waiting for this exact morning. None of it is loud, all of it is layered. Heaven loves to write footnotes in places proud people do not read edges. Margins. Dawn. You remember how you once demanded billboards. If you want me to do it, make it obvious. Mercy met you there. But now the Father is maturing your perception. He shows you the slight tilt of events, the quiet symmetry of timing, the way a problem cancels itself when you bless instead of bite. You begin to see that signs are less about spectacle and more about synchronization. Your heart, his heart, and the hour agreeing. Think of the sky as a sanctuary. No one can privatize. Clued parade like chapters. Wind edits the page. Light underlines what matters. You look up, not to escape the earth, but to remember that the earth is held. A shaft of sun breaks through a grey lid, exactly when you speak forgiveness aloud. A sudden stillness returns to a room where accusation had been vibrating. You notice, and noticing, you're led. You are not chasing omens. You are consenting to order. The God who authors galaxies is not playing riddles with your survival. He places there beside then and asks you to connect now. When you do, anxiety loosens. This is what wonder does. It does not sedate, it situates. You feel placed rather than tossed, aligned rather than lucky. Gratitude grows teeth and guards your mind. According to what is revealed in the book of Psalms, chapter 19, verse 1, the heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Hear the verb, declare. The sky isn't wallpaper, it's witness. Creation is not mute about its maker. And when you stand beneath it with a yielded heart, it tutors your senses back to trust. If the sky can keep proclaiming through storms and seasons, so can you. Watch how confirmation arrives through contrasts. The call you feared lands softer than expected. The door you craved feels wrong the second your hand touches it. The option that seemed unlikely begins to glow with a peace you cannot manufacture. Peace is the signature on heaven's documents. If it's missing, keep the pen capped. Pressing ahead without that signature is like sailing with a painted wind. You will be tempted to overinterpret. Resist the itch to turn poetry into parlor tricks. A cloud can be a cloud. A delay can be a delay. But when the rhythms begin to rhyme, when scripture, circumstance, and spirit hum the same note, bow your head. You're standing under a constellation of yes. Gather the confirmations like manna, enough for obedience today, not hoarded in fear of tomorrow. Let humility be your telescope. The proud demand fireworks and miss firelight. The humble notice the ember in the grate and tend it until the room warms. You do not need a parade to move, you need a path. Heaven is lighting it one lantern at a time. Take the step that glows, not the one that glitters. Glitter demands audience, glow serves the way. Now, seal this awareness with a simple signal of agreement. Type 444. Let it mark your recognition of patterned mercy and measured timing. When you write 444, you are confessing, I choose formation over frenzy, confirmation over compulsion, covenant over coincidence. It will be a quiet bell in your history when you see the next alignment. Your spirit will remember this, yes. Soon, the sign will no longer be out there, but through you. Your patience will be a sign to the hurried. Your calm will be a sign to the frightened. Your truth spoken gently will be a sign to the cynical. The sky will still preach, but your life will become a subtitle. The weary can read at street level, and Monday, arriving like a window swung wide, will find you already facing the light, eyes clear, steps sure, ready not because you guessed, but because you listened. Exposure does not arrive to embarrass you, it arrives to emancipate you. When heaven turns the light up, it is not to humiliate your history, but to hand you back your future. Counterfeits thrive in dim rooms, half friendships, half truths, half commitments. They wear kindness like costume jewelry, sparkle in short meetings, and rust in long storms. You have begun to notice the rattle in the bracelet, the green on the finger. The shine is flaking. This is mercy. Counterfeits often mimic the shape of what you prayed for, but they cannot imitate the weight. Real things carry gravity. You feel steadier in their presence, more honest, less hurried. Counterfeits make you busier but not braver, louder but not clearer. They promise shortcuts, then invoice your soul. Exposure is heaven's invoice reversal. The light reveals what the bargain truly costs, and you are invited to step away with dignity. You remember conversations that left you thinner, alliances where you kept shrinking to fit the frame, opportunities that applauded your gift but starved your character. You were not naive, you were merciful. But mercy without borders becomes a leak. Today, God returns the borders. You are learning to bless without binding yourself, to love without licensing dysfunction, to forgive while refusing a renewed cycle. Freedom can look like silence that does not explain itself. Discernment sharpens when you examine fruit, not flash. Counterfeits excel at entrances, impeccable timing, rehearsed empathy. The right phrases braided with the wrong spirit, but fruit ripens over time. Give it time. The real will grow sweeter, more nourishing, more exact. The false will grow sour, demanding, and oddly evasive when asked simple questions. Do not chase evasions into their maze. Stand at the door of clarity and let truth do its own gravity. You also learn to apply exposure inward. You hold your own motives to light and discover where anxiety hid inside ambition, where people-pleasing wore scripture like a mask, where impatience renamed itself urgency. You do not self-condemn, you consent to correction. The same lamp that rescues you from false voices rescues others from your false veneers. You become safer, simpler, stronger. The counterfeit within starts losing oxygen, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 16. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? This is the plumb line you carry now, not vibesfruit, not charisma character, not momentum faithfulness. The orchard never lies. What is planted will eventually speak. Watch how exposure works without spectacle. A question you finally ask, and the answer arrives in tangles instead of threads. A schedule you protect, and suddenly the takers find another host. A boundary you state gently, and the uncommitted accuse you of change. Of course, you have changed. Growth is not betrayal, it is stewardship. Those meant to walk with you will adjust their step, Those who only needed your shadow will look for shade elsewhere. Bless them. Keep walking. Counterfeits often cluster around hurry. Slow your yes. Let time do what talk cannot. Real partnerships do not panic when you pray. Real opportunities do not sour when you seek counsel. Real mentors do not demand loyalty greater than your loyalty to Christ. Exposure lays this out like a map. If the path requires you to dim your obedience to brighten your platform, it is not your path. There is also counterfeit warfare, noisy battles that recruit your attention but not your assignment. A digital quarrel that masquerades as conviction. A controversy that promises relevance if you bleed in public. Be careful. Not every giant deserves a stone from you. Spend your stones on Philistines standing in your field, not on echoes shouting from far hills. The anointing makes even your refusals holy. Notice the places that grow quiet as you get healthy. Rooms you once kept alive with your availability, now dim because they were powered by your unbound yes. Do not rush back to play electrician for systems God is letting power down. Go where your presence multiplies, order. Stay where your peace is welcomed, as wisdom, not harvested as fuel. Exposure is an usher. It guides you to the right seat, the right table, the right task. And when a true thing appears, it will not require you to mutilate yourself to fit. It will ask for excellence, not erasure, humility, not humiliation. It will stretch you like good shoes, snug at first, then strangely right. You will recognize real by its aftertaste, rest, not residue. You'll leave the meeting wanting to honor God more, not to manage appearances tighter. By week's end, you will look around and realize that less has become more, fewer voices, deeper counsel, fewer options, clear path. This is not scarcity, this is sanctification. The field is being pruned to bear more fruit. Monday does not need you bloated with alliances. It needs you aligned with assignment. Let the light keep its work. Let the counterfeits keep their costumes. You are walking forward, unmasked, unburdened, unmistakably His. You begin to notice a pattern in the people orbiting your days. They are not the loudest, nor the most decorated. They are the most awake. They recognize the same tone. You've been following the pitch of purpose that hums beneath traffic and headlines. You find them in unlikely places. The voice that steadies a room without announcing itself. The hand that serves without posting proof. The friend who asks the question that breaks a spell. This is the gathering of the remnant. Not a club, not a clique, a current. It carries those willing to be faithful when novelty fades and numbers fluctuate. Think of an orchestra tuning in a dark pit. Each instrument finds the A, and the room slowly aligns. No one argues the pitch, they adjust to it. That is what is happening across your life, conversation by conversation, task by task. The faithful are tuning to the same note. You realize unity is not sameness, it is shared surrender. A violin does not sound like a drum, but both bow to the conductor's hand. When they do, music that could never exist in isolation blooms between them. The remnant does not compete for spotlight, they compete to serve. They do not hoard oil, they pass it. They do not weaponize discernment, they anchor it with intercession. You watch how they handle pain without performance, without poison. They bring their wounds to the healer and return with bandages for others. They do not collect followers, they cultivate fidelity. It is startling how restful their presence is, You find yourself breathing slower around them, thinking clearer after them, loving truer with them. We often imagine movements beginning with megaphones. Most begin with whispers among the willing. A lunch becomes a liturgy. A text becomes a lifeline. A small group becomes a supply line. Before long, you notice a braid forming, gifts interlacing, weaknesses covered, strength shared. The shy strategist sits beside the brave communicator. The quiet intercessor steadies the visionary who loves to run. No one must be everything. Each must be faithful. The Spirit spoke through the apostle in the Romans, chapter 11, verse 5. So too, at the present time, there is a remnant chosen by grace. Let that sentence ring through your marrow. Chosen by grace. Not recruited for charisma. Not conscripted by guilt. Not measured by metrics graced. Grace selects, shapes, sustains. Grace protects a people from the corrosion of cynicism and the intoxication of influence. Grace keeps the remnant light enough to move when God says, go. Rooted enough to endure when God says, wait. 1. You begin to discern how the remnant travels through places. They enter broken systems the way a gardener enters an overgrown yard, not with contempt, but with tools. They prune what steals light. They water what still wants to live. They plant what will outlast their ego. Where others demand credit, they demand fruit. Where others gather crowds, they gather clarity. Where others build stages, they build tables. The difference becomes impossible to ignore. People leave their presence less anxious, more honest, readier to obey. Notice, 2. How the remnant holds disagreement. They do not confuse unity with silence. They practice truth with tenderness. They will tell you when your pace risks your soul, not to shrink you, but to save you. They refuse the drama of factions. They refuse the flattery of factions. They live in the tension where iron sharpens iron without sparks becoming arson. In this tension, trust thickens like a good broth, slow, nourishing, unforgettable. Your assignment within this gathering is not to collect names, but to keep oil. Bring your lamp trimmed. Bring your craft tuned. Bring your yes honest. The remnant does not need you louder. It needs you truer. It does not need you everywhere. It needs you exactly where the King places you, showing up, showing mercy, showing restraint. The more precisely you occupy your lane, the safer and stronger the whole road becomes. Look for small convergences that confirm you're among kin. The prayer that finishes in their mouth what began in yours. The project that becomes possible because 3 quiet obediences aligned. The peace that settles on a room when each person chooses purpose over preference. These are not accidents. They are architecture. A house is being assembled of living stones, and comparison is the only brick that never fits. In time, the remnant becomes visible not by branding, but by blessing. Cities feel it. A hospital wing shifts culture. A school breathes. A company remembers conscience. A household heals. The signature is consistent, gentle power, sturdy joy, long patience, sudden courage. You realize you were never meant to run alone through the dark. You were meant to carry a corner of a great light. Shoulder it, and feel the weight grow strangely light when lifted together. Monday is not simply your unveiling. It is our alignment, and aligned, Even the smallest lamp can turn a valley into a map. Fire is not always a spectacle. Sometimes it is a quiet commission, a coal pressed to the lips, a lantern handed at the doorway, a pilot light catching after a long winter. You feel that now, not the frantic blaze of performance, but the steady burn of purpose. The room has been prepared by waiting, the tools laid out by obedience, the route mapped by prayer. Now comes the giving of orders, not barked, but bestowed. You are sent, not as a spark that startles and dies, but as a torch that travels and multiplies light. Consider how a lighthouse works. It stays anchored while its beam turns, speaking across miles in a language of light. Ships you will never meet steer by its faithfulness. That is your calling-rooted presence with revolving reach. You do not have to be everywhere if you are intensely true somewhere where God plants you. He intends a radius, streets, feeds, offices, kitchens. Each becomes coastline for the signal you carry. Your assignment is not vague. It comes wrapped in the faces you already pass. The project's already in your hands. The platform's already entrusted to you. Fire does not invent ground, it travels ground. The compassion you resisted because it cost time. The truth you delayed because it might cost favor. The creativity you shelved because it made you vulnerable. These are wicks waiting. The commission blows gently, and they begin to glow. The Spirit will assign you rooms, an anxious meeting where your calm changes the weather, a family conversation where your repentance breaks the stalemate, a digital thread where your refusal to mock becomes an unexpected kindness. Do not despise small flames. Fire spreads through, touches the brief hallway blessing, the quick text of courage, the patient explanation given one more time. Your flame is not for show, it is for sight and warmth. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in 2 Timothy, chapter 1, verse 6. Therefore I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of my hands. Here is both tenderness and task. The gift is already in you, and the air it needs is your obedience. Fanning looks like repetition without resentment, returning to the craft. The prayer, the service. The fan in your hand might be mundane. The blaze it grows will not be. You will face friction, always the test of carriers. Some will misunderstand your heat as anger, your clarity as pride, your boundaries as coldness. Bless them and keep burning. Warmth proves itself over time. Others will try to use your fire to light their fireworks. Decline politely. Fireworks entertain the sky and leave smoke. Hearth fires nourish a house and leave bread. You were not sent to scorch the timeline. You were sent to feed a generation. Let imagery tutor you. You are a campfire in a storm people draw near. Not for opinions, but for shelter. You are a kiln for clay. Gifts around you are hardened into durability because your consistency holds temperature. You are a sunrise over a frostbit field. What seemed dead remembers. It can be green. You are a lantern carried down a mine. Darkness does not negotiate. It simply recedes. When the moment feels too large, shrink your focus to the next faithful act. One phone call you've avoided, one apology you owe, one paragraph you must write, one meal you can cook for someone with no time to cook for themselves. Commission does not skip the ordinary, it sanctifies it. By nightfall, you will see how a dozen small obediences braided themselves into a cord strong enough to pull someone back from the edge. If this word sits in your chest like a coal, treat it carefully and kindly. Save it the way a traveler saves a compass, reachable, scuffed from use. Never buried at the bottom of the bag. Share it with a friend who carries silent brilliance but keeps their light cup too closely. Your sending might unlock theirs. And if this cadence is feeding you through the weeks, subscribe quietly so our lamps can keep company as the road bends. Not for noise, for nourishment. Not for image, for intercession. Before you step out, mark the threshold with a sentence. In the comments, type, "I bear the flame." Let those 4 words be a vow at the door. They are not bravado, they are ballast. When storms sneer and schedules splinter, you will remember. You were not chosen to be impressive. You were chosen to be incandescent, steady heat, faithful light, a moving hearth where Christ warms the world he loves. Now go soft-voiced, sure-footed, slow burning. Let your presence be proof that mercy has muscle and truth has temperature. And when the day closes, return the torch in prayer to the one whose fire never needs your oxygen, yet gladly borrows your hands. Monday does not burst in with drums. It arrives like a letter you have been expecting without knowing the exact hour of delivery. You feel it before you see it, the way air shifts when a storm has decided to bless instead of bruise. The way a room quiets when the right person steps through the door. The signs that trailed you all week, a line on the table as if an unseen hand has been arranging them while you slept. And there it is, the revelation. Not an idea floating above your life, but a word that touches ground and grows legs. You notice the change in simple places. A conversation that once spiraled into defensiveness settles into understanding. The task you kept postponing opens easily, like a window unstuck by morning warmth. The apology you rehearsed in fear is received like water by dry earth. Revelation does this. It lubricates what friction had claimed. It translates what confusion kept muttering. It reveals the hinge and teaches your hand the angle. You step into hours that fit you better than last week's explanations. Not because all variables behave, but because your posture has found its place. Revelation is not a map of every mile. It is a compass that stops spinning. North has a feel again. You recognize what to refuse without guilt, what to accept without bargaining, what to attempt without advertising. The room around you did not get larger, your heart did. Space appears because clutter bows to clarity. The voice of God thundered in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 20. For all the promises of God in him are yes, and in him amen, to the glory of God through us. There is a dignity to the way doors behave now. The counterfeit ones stop begging. The real ones stop pretending to be walls. You do not have to wrestle the handle. You only have to keep your hands clean. Clean hands are what revelation requires. Motives rinsed. Grudges released. Outcomes surrendered. With clean hands, you can feel the texture of peace on the knob and know it is time. With clean hands, you leave no smudges of haste on what God is making holy. You will still face resistance, but it changes tone. It is no longer the chaos of "Who are you?" but the pushback of "Can you be consistent?" The answer, by grace, is yes. You pace yourself like a runner who knows the course turns, measured, breath taut, eyes forward. The fear of missing out dries up because you are inside your assignment. There is nothing to miss when you are where the Master is. Revelation also reorders your memory. You look back without being lured backward. Suffering becomes seed, not sentence. Delays become proof of protection, not proof of neglect. Even your failures lose their accusations and become teachers stern, perhaps, but faithful. Gratitude takes the lectern and begins to narrate your history in a tone that does not lie about pain and does not lie about purpose. Watch how your voice changes. You stop over-explaining to the unready and start offering bread to the hungry. You replace the cadence of urgency with the cadence of authority, gentle, exact, unafraid of silence. Silence, in fact, becomes a companion again, not a threat. In silence, you hear the gears of grace turning, and you do not reach for levers that are not yours. By afternoon, you recognize a pattern. Revelation makes responsibility sweet. Work finds its meaning. Service regains its song. Boundaries, once a battlefield, become the fence around a garden you finally have time to tend. You collect the day's mercies without hoarding them, one conversation reconciled, one task completed with care, one temptation met with a clean no. These are not small, they are stitches. A whole fabric emerges because you kept sewing, and as the light leans toward evening, you see it clearly. The promise was never about spectacle. It was about becoming trustworthy with what you were always meant to carry. Monday did not magic you into someone else. It unveiled who you are when heaven's yes meets your living. Amen. The day closes like a well-written paragraph, not with a cliffhanger, but with a cadence that tells the truth more to come. And you are ready to read it with your life. There's a moment, right before the dawn fully breaks, when the sky seems to hold its breath. The world is on the verge of something, but it isn't yet in motion. You stand in that pause, not quite in the dark, but not quite in the light, either suspended in between, but with an undeniable certainty that something is about to shift. That is the space you occupy now. Monday is no longer an appointment on a calendar. It is an awakening that will be felt, not just seen. What you realize now is that the real breakthrough has never been about arriving at a specific destination. It has always been about becoming someone who can hold the promises that were given long ago. It is not the destination that changes you, but the journey, the lessons learned in the waiting, the grace that taught you how to walk through seasons of silence, the faith that grew when you were unsure of the next step. And now, on the precipice of Monday, you are ready to step forward into whatever God has set before you. The world may still turn, chaos may still press in, but you know something deeper now. You are steady. You have learned to breathe in the midst of storms, to listen in the midst of noise, to move forward, even when the path is unclear. Monday will not bring the answers to every question, but it will bring confirmation that you are on the right path. The peace you feel now is not just the calm before the storm, it is the peace that comes from knowing you are exactly where you are supposed to be. As the day stretches on and you begin to step into the fullness of the moment, you realize that the true purpose of this journey has been to teach you how to embrace every part of yourself, not the parts that are polished or easily understood, but the parts that are still being refined, still being worked out. You have learned to love your own process, to honor the slow, often unseen work that has brought you here. This understanding allows you to carry the weight of your calling with grace. You no longer feel the need to explain or defend it. because you know it is not yours to control. It has always belonged to God. And in that knowing, you stand taller, not in pride, but in peace. You know that the work He has begun in you will be completed, not by your striving, but by His faithfulness. As the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Philippians, chapter 1, verse 6, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." You no longer need to make things happen. You simply need to remain faithful, to stay the course, and trust that He will unfold everything in His perfect timing. As you look back on everything that has led you to this moment, you can see how each step, each choice, each heartache, and each victory has shaped you. What you once considered obstacles are now recognized as opportunities for growth. What seemed like detours were simply parts of the journey that God used to refine your character, to teach you to trust Him more fully. So as Monday approaches, you step into it with a quiet confidence, not because you have it all figured out, but because you trust the One who does. You walk forward, not in a rush, but with purpose, fully aware of the path that has been paved for you, fully present in the moment you have been given. The truth is, Monday is not a beginning at all. It is the unfolding of a story that has been written with intention, love, and grace. You are no longer chasing your future. You are living it. The wait has not been wasted. It has been preparation. And now, with the dawn of Monday on the horizon, you can step into it with the full confidence that you are exactly where you are meant to be, doing exactly what you are meant to do. The journey continues, but you walk it with a peace that surpasses all understanding, ready, steady, and fully alive in the calling that is yours. The page turns here. Beloved, chosen one. Pause for a breath and feel the weight of what you just carried. Tests faced, doors discerned, names restored, Monday unveiled. Let this closing be a gentle hand over your shoulder, a cloak settled right where it belongs. You are not leaving the moment. You are bringing it with you into every hallway, message, and decision that follows. If this journey has steadied your steps, anchor it for yourself and for someone you love. Like this, so it stays within reach when a colder morning comes. Share it the way travelers share maps, quietly, generously, so another soul in the waiting finds their way to the door that fits their hand. And if these words have met you week after week like a lamp in a familiar window, subscribe, not for noise, but for nourishment, so we can keep walking this road with holy pacing. Before you go, leave a sign to your future self. In the comments, type 555. Let it be your seal of grace in motion, triple mercy for the days ahead, triple alignment for the work of your hands, triple courage for the rooms you will bless. After you write 555, add one sentence about what you are choosing today. Peace over panic, presence over performance, obedience over outcomes. Your sentence will be a seed. Seeds, remember. Return to these sections whenever the weather shifts. Read them like waypoints, the whisper, the marking, the waiting, the door, the mantle, the revelation. You are not behind, you are aligned. And when you step into Monday's light, do it the way rivers do, without announcement, with purpose, certain of their source and sure of their destination. The grace that found you will keep you. The fire entrusted to you will warm what's cold and clarify what's cloudy. I am honored to walk this stretch with you. We continue steadily, quietly, victoriously.